Hey everyone, Julian here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make real hard groove techno. I've studied this style. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the real stuff. To go along this video, you can grab this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets. The entire template that you just heard in the intro is available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely go grab that. It'll help you take your tracks to the next level and get where you're trying to get. It really helps support me as well. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's dive in. Alright, so we're at 140 BPM, right? You know, pretty good techno tempo. Starting here with the kick. So this groove is made up of a kick, right? Just a nice punchy, almost like 909 styled kick. And then we have a bass line. So this bass line is really simple. If I put it up a few octaves, you can really hear the melody. Right? It's just this very simple melody, and then obviously like as a bass line, it grooves really well off of the kick, you know? And really with this style, you just want something simple. That's really repetitive and just kind of grooves, you know, like a 1-bar groove max. So that's made with this operator patch. What's happening here is it's a square wave. Right? It gives you this big fat waveform. We've got the voices set to 1 and we've got the glide turned on, and then we're low passing that. So you still get that fat waveform, but you're not getting all the mids and highs, and then we're cutting. So we're cutting a bit of sub out of this. You know, the basses in these tracks are really pretty airy. There's not actually a lot of sub if you look at it on the spectrum analyzer. So we're cutting that, and then there's also a bit of a high cut. Again, we're side chaining this to this little click. And then we're converting it to mono. So then the last part of this is this tom. Right, and you can see that grooves off of the bass line. And really adds to it. So this is, yeah, it's this tom sample. I'll play it for you. Right, and then we're just pitching it down a bunch. We're making it a little bit shorter. And then I'm high passing it and low passing it. And then also side chaining it. And it just plays that. You can hear that underneath everything, like, really adds a lot of groove. So then we have the main drums. And I want to say something, you know, a lot of people think these hard groove tracks are all about, like, the percussion loops and all that crunchy texture in the mid-range. But it's really about, like, that, but underneath this. Like, this groove between the kick and bass and then these main, just simple, offbeat drums. That has to be working before any of this extra stuff can work here. Obviously that stuff is pretty loud, but you have to have this working. So we've got this hi-hat is 2 layers. What it is I'm taking this 909. And you can see it didn't have that much punch, so then I layered it with the same 909. But then you can see I made it really short. And I high passed it and added a little bit of filter drive. So it kind of creates like this punchy, this layer, and since it's the same sample, it layers perfectly with itself. Like you don't have any problems with phase or anything else like you would with other samples. And then we have this clap. So this is a 707 drum machine clap, right? You know, pretty simple stuff with a bit of overdrive reverb on it as well. And on the group there, we have a little bit of drum bus, but you can see it's only at 20%. We're also cutting the lows. I like to group these together, kind of treat them as one groove. And then we have the main percussion. So there's a lot of percussion in these kinds of tracks. Again, a lot of people think it's all about this. You really do need to have those main things down before this. But if you can get it working, obviously you can see this stuff does a lot. So usually when I'm making these, I start with these bongos. Just simple like this. You can see this is literally not even a full bar. It's like a half note that just repeats. So I got that and then put it against this, just like a bunch of live percussion. Right? Just start building up the groove. Usually it helps to listen to the kick with it. Okay, so from there, then I added in this. So these are kind of like some programmed bongos. It's this percussion kit that I found over here in the drum racks. Right, just a lot of nice kind of tribal techno style percussion. So you get those going. And then it needed to be filled out a little bit, so that's where these rave loops started coming in. Like that. This one. Right, those add a lot of energy and just kind of fill out the groove, because the organic percussion on its own doesn't quite get that like full intense groove. So then from there, it was really just adding a few more elements. I have this bongo and then this other tom up here. Right, just some like repetitive programmed percussion. If you notice, this is the exact same sample and the same pattern as this. It's just like going and going and going. And yeah, so then I put all that percussion together in a group, and then there's just a little bit of sidechain to make it bounce off of the rest of the drums really nicely. Right, if you turn that off, it doesn't groove quite as well. So then the last element of this, and really like a lot of the magic in these tracks, is down here with this little groove between this effect sample and this vocal. So what's happening here is a bunch of call and response. You have this little effects. It's like like it bounces off of the other one. And then when you play that over top of this whole other groove, it adds the perfect thing, because all these other drums are so like, you know, just very short grooves, like half notes or one bar, and then this is kind of spread out. And so the way you do this is you pick two different sounds, typically one that has a lot of rhythm to it, right, like this vocal that can groove against the drums, and then one that's just like a stab at the start of the bar, right? And then you just start with the stab, and then find the vocal or whatever like synth you're using or whatever, and make that kind of groove off of what's happening in the drums. Like this, I had the drums first, and then you can chop this up with that. You see, there's a lot of chopping that I did to get this to groove so well. So for this little effects sound, what's happening is it's this thing. This is from one of my effects sample packs, the track effects. Right, I just took that, you can see I faded it in. And then I added this resonator with a bit of overdrive, high pass, and sidechain, so it just kind of adds a tone. You can see that sits nice in the mix. That like that. Then we've got this little vocal. So again, this is just this chopped up vocal. I did a lot of chopping to make this work. You just have to sit there with a vocal, you know, maybe 1 or 2 bars, and just chop and chop and chop until it fits with the groove really well. And then you can get these kinds of nice things. There's just a bit of overdrive and then a sidechain on that. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, the entire template. It's available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely go grab that. It's a really great value, and it'll help you take your tracks to the next level today for just $5. This is the best Hardgroove template on the market at the best price as well, so we can all learn from it and make our best tracks. Go ahead, support yourself, making your best music. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.